Hello students, welcome to the new lecture. I hope you all are doing good and you are keeping yourself and your family members safe in every way possible. In this lecture, we are going to study continuous random variables. In previous lecture, we have seen about discrete random variables. Okay, I suppose that all of you must have listened to that lecture of discrete random variables. Actually, that lecture was in two parts. So both parts you have listened and you are thorough with that and you are practicing the questions on discrete random variables. Okay, so in this lecture let us continue the discussion on random variables by studying continuous random variables. Alright, so what is continuous random variables? Okay, what was discrete random variables? Discrete random variable was a function which is from the given sample space to set of real numbers. That means whenever associated to each event, if we are getting a real value, a single value, a discrete value, then I can say that the random variable is discrete random variable. But what is continuous random variable now here? A random variable x which can take values continuously, that is, which takes all possible values in the given interval, is called as continuous random variable, whose abbreviation is CRV. What they are saying? A random variable which takes values continuously, not a single value, not two values, not three values, but all the values in the interval. If associated to each event given in the sample space, if we can find all the values in the interval, in a particular interval, okay, then I can say that the random variable which we are talking about is not a discrete random variable, but it is a continuous random variables. In other words, a random variable is said to be continuous when its different values cannot be put in one-to-one correspondence with a set of positive integers, right? A random variable is said to be continuous when we cannot put its values, when its values cannot be put in one correspondence with a set of positive integers. Like we cannot name that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we cannot number them. In fact, we are getting all the possible values in a specified interval. Okay, a continuous random variable is a random variable that can be measured to any desired degree of accuracy. Okay, I know that this definition is not that much clear. Okay, but from examples, let me try to explain. Okay, so examples are the height, weight, or age of any individuals. Okay, or another example is temperature, time. In which sense they falls under the category of continuous random variables and not discrete random variables? Can you recall what were the examples of discrete random variables? They were tossing of a coin, throwing of a dice, alright, where the outcome is an integer, where the outcome will be some number. Okay, but here also outcome will be some number. But suppose I am measuring the height of a person, let us say in centimeters, then if some person is of, let us say that 170 centimeter height, so let us say that person is of 170 centimeter height, 171 centimeter of height. Okay, so is it necessary, is it sufficient to say that he is, or if I am dealing with one class, let us say that a class of 20 students and I am measuring their heights in centimeters, so some may be of 170 centimeters, some may be of 172 centimeters, some student may be of 168 centimeters, but to which scale I am measuring their heights? It may so happen that I am saying 171 centimeter. If some student is of height 171 centimeter, he may be of 171.00001 centimeter. I cannot say that. Okay, I cannot say it as confidently as after throwing of a dice, I will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and not 1.5 or 1.7 or 2.8 or something. I cannot say in that case in throwing of a dice or tossing of a coin. That is why those examples are under discrete random variables, and these examples where we can measure them to any desired degree of accuracy, they falls under the category of continuous random variables. And this is very important for you to understand the difference between CRV and DRV. Okay, another example is weight. Yes, again, if some person is of 58 let us say kg, he is saying 58 kgs, but he may be of 58.00056 kg. Up to after 6 or 7 decimal place, something will be there. We cannot say that, and we cannot ignore that as well. Okay, so for describing some variables which we have to desired, which we have to measure to any desired accuracy, we need continuous random variable. Similarly, temperature, whether you are talking in Fahrenheit or degree Celsius or any other unit, temperature also. Suppose I am measuring the temperature of Gandhinagar city at so and so place at 12, let us say at 1 p.m. So it may so happen that the temperature is showing 42 degrees Celsius, but I don't know whether that 42 is really 42 or 42 point something more, or 39 point something and they are rounding it off to 42. I don't know. I never know. Okay, so there are some variables which we cannot measure, which we cannot put into one-to-one correspondence with the set of positive integers. The second definition I am talking about. All those variables comes under the category of continuous random variables. All right, let us see. Next slide. What is probability density function? Okay, let me tell you one more thing. Because we cannot put it in one-to-one correspondence with the set of positive integers, what we are going to do here is we are going to talk in terms of intervals. We are going to talk in terms of intervals. So the weight of a person or weight of a class, or weight of a person I should say, is lying between 62.1 to 62.2 kgs. Now this may be very clear because I am giving you the range, I am giving you the interval, and the moment I am saying interval, integration is coming to the picture. Let us see how. Probability density function. You remember we have seen in discrete random variable about probability mass function. So this is analogous term, probability density function. Let us see what it is. Consider the small interval x to x plus dx of length dx around the point x, right? Let f of x be any continuous function of x, so that f of x dx represent the probability that x falls in the infinitesimal interval x to x plus dx. What we are saying? We are saying that f of x is any continuous function of x, so that fx into dx. Can you say that? Can you see that in the diagram? You know the physical significance of integration is area under the curve. You always remember this thing. Okay, so f of x into dx represent the probability that x, which is random variable, falls in the infinitesimal interval x to x plus dx. Yes, we know that. Symbolically, capital P. It is very important to understand difference between capital P and small p. If you are having any confusion, refer to my previous lectures of discrete random variables over and over, at least twice or thrice. The things will be clear. So, capital P of x less than or equal to x, which is random variable, CRV, continuous random variable, is less than or equal to x plus dx. So, I am talking about the interval x to x plus dx, where my random variable is there, is equals to fx of x dx. So, fx dx that we have talked about, it is nothing but the probability that x falls under the infinitesimal interval x to x plus dx. Alright. In the figure, fx dx represent the area. Just now I have told you, f of x dx represents the area bounded by the curve y is equals to f of x from above, x axis from below, and the ordinates at the point x from left side and x plus dx from right side. The function fx of x, small f I am talking here, fx of x so defined is known as probability density function, or simply density function of random variable x, and it is abbreviated as PDF. So now onwards, from here onwards, wherever we are coming across the term PDF, it means probability density function. Let us formally define it. probability density function fx of x of the random variable capital X is defined as fx of x is equals to limit as delta x tends to 0. We are taking a small infinitesimal element. You know the concept of limits, you know the concept of derivative where we take the infinitesimal element. So limit as that infinitesimal element is tending to 0, probability x less than or equal to x is less than x plus delta x upon delta x. Basically the dx is playing the role of delta x. Alright, the probability for a variate value to lie in the interval dx is fx dx, which we have already discussed from previous slide, and hence the probability for a variate value to fall in the finite interval alpha to beta. Now let us talk in terms of alpha and beta and not from x to x plus delta x. That was for just for infinitesimal element delta x. If I want to talk about a general interval, I am talking about alpha to beta. So probability that random variable, the continuous random variable capital X is falling between alpha to beta is equals to integration alpha to beta fx dx, which represents the area. That area should be in bold, italic and colored. Very important. Which represents the area between the curve y equals to fx, x-axis and the ordinates x is equals to alpha and x is equals to beta. So what we have done, we have taken a small element here and we have generalized here it in terms of any general interval from alpha to beta. And from equation 1, we are saying that probability that x falls in the interval alpha to beta is integration alpha to beta fx dx. Further, since total probability is unity, you know that total probability is 1, right? You know that when you are summing all the, you know from discrete random variable lecture, that total probability is 1. Similar thing, basic things will be similar whether it is DRV or CRV. So we are not supposed to forget the basics. Further, since total probability is unity, that means 1, we have integration a to b fx dx is equals to 1, right? We know that, where AB, interval AB is the range of the random variable x. The range of the variable may be finite or infinite. The probability density function, very important point is coming up now. The probability density function PDF of a random variable x, usually denoted by a small f of fx of x or simply fx, it has following obvious properties. And using these properties only, you are going to solve many examples. Okay? Which contains some marks also, okay, right. So first is f of x should be greater than or equal to 0. That function should be strictly positive in the interval minus infinity to infinity, okay, right. Second point is integration minus infinity to infinity fx dx is equals to 1. Remember here they are putting here minus infinity to infinity just to specify that they are talking about the whole interval on which the function is defined. So do not get confused with that infinity, minus infinity or infinity. It may be finite value also. It is just telling you that they are talking about extremities and not anything else. Right? So first property is f of x should be positive or 0 greater than or equal to 0. Second point is minus infinity to infinity fx dx is equals to 1. That means sum of all the probabilities should be 1. And third point is the probability P of E given by P of E is equals to integral over E fx dx is well defined for any event E. When we are talking about some event, its integration over that event f of x dx should be well defined for any given event, they are saying. So these are three obvious properties of probability density function which are going to be very useful as far as solution of problems is concerned, examples are concerned. Okay. There are some important remarks which we need to take into account. So important remarks. In case of discrete random variable, the probability at a point, that means P at x is equals to C, that C is a fixed point, is not 0 for some fixed C. Okay. Now they are starting from discrete random variable. Okay. They are saying that in discrete random variable, what was there? Probability at some point C was not 0 because we were dealing at points, probability at given points only. But here, however, let me continue. However, in case of continuous random variable, which we are studying right now, the probability at a point is always 0. Yes. In DRV, probability at point is not 0, but in CRV, in continuous random variable, probability at a point, at a particular point, is always 0. That is, why it is so? Just think about it. Explanation is there, but yes, you should think. That is, probability at x is equals to c, where c is a fixed point, is equals to 0 for all possible values of c. This follows directly from equation 1 by taking alpha is equals to beta is equals to c. Where is equation number 1 then? Let me see. Yeah, equation number 1 is there. Whenever you are talking about a point and not about the interval, your alpha will be equals to beta. Okay, so this will be integration from alpha to alpha, fx dx, and you know integration alpha to alpha any function is 0. Okay, so whenever you are talking about continuous random variable, you are talking about interval, and hence this equation number 1 is valid. But whenever you are not talking about an interval and whenever you are talking about a point, this interval will get reduced to 1 point and integration will be 0. Hence probability at a point in continuous random variable is always 0. Okay. This also implies that, I hope this thing is clear. It is very important thing. It is very important thing to remember as far as understanding of this concept is concerned. This also implies that probability of an event is equals to 0 does not imply that the event is null or impossible event. Yeah. So far in probability theory, what you know from your basics, whenever probability of some event is 0, we say that it is impossible event. Whenever probability of some event is 1, we say that it is a sure event. But here, despite that probability of some event is 0, in continuous random variable, we cannot say that that event is impossible event. Okay? Because of the fact which is stated above. This property of CRV, that probability of x is equals to c is equals to 0 for every c, leads us to the following important result. What is the following important result? Following important result is probability that alpha less than equal to x less than equal to beta is equals to probability of alpha less than equal to x less than beta. Just listen or just be careful to the while observing these inequalities. In first one, both are less than equal to. In second one, first one is less than equal to. In third one, second one is less than equal to. In last one, nothing is less than equal to. Everything is strict inequality. Okay. So whether you are including the endpoints or not, your probability is going to be same for the whole interval. That is the beauty of continuous random variable. You can think of this result also, that how it happens. That is, in case of continuous random variable, it does not matter whether we include the endpoints of the interval from alpha to beta. However, the result is not true for a discrete random variable, which is very obvious. Okay, because there we are talking about probability at the points only. Okay. So here, whether you are including endpoints or not, including the endpoints of the interval or not, your probability is going to be same for all the 4 cases, for 4 possible cases. One note should be taken here. Let fx of x or fx be the probability density function of random variable x is defined from where x is defined from a to b. In continuous random variable, we define mean. We know mean, variance, standard deviation for discrete random variable. Similar terms are here. There we deal in summations. Here it is nothing but integration. So I will quickly glance through this, because the reason is I am going to make a separate, or I am going to give some notes on mean, variance, standard deviation and moment generating function after this lecture, so that the things will be more clear. So right now you just remember this thing, that the mean, variance and standard deviation are analogous in continuous random variable to that of discrete random variables. Okay, so here in CRV we denote mean by mu r dash, and it is obtained as mu r dash about origin is equals to integration a to b x to the power r fx dx. When you are talking about mean about some point x is equals to a, it is just the matter of replacing it by x minus a, that x replaced by x minus a. Whenever you are talking about mean mean about mu about mean, that expectation about mean I should say, it will be x will be replaced by x minus mean. Okay, in particular from 2 from 2, when I put r is equals to 1 here, so I will get mu1 dash about origin, which is my mean. Important. Okay, it will be x into f integration a to b x fx dx. Yes, we know, because in discrete random variable it used to summation of x into fx. So here summation, not because we have continuous function here, so summation is get replaced by integration and nothing more. Okay, all these things we are going to continue, or we are going to revisit again in the next topic, moment generating function, mean, variance and standard deviation. So don't worry about these topics, right? Just remember that instead of summation we are just going to use here integration as far as mean is concerned. Okay, moving forward, let us discuss a couple of examples here. The diameter of an electric cable, say capital X, is assumed to be continuous random variable with probability density function fx is equals to 6x into 1 minus x in the interval 0 to 1. They are saying that the diameter of electric cable is a continuous random variable. Yes, because it is length. I cannot say that it is 32 meters or 32.000005 meters or 31.999995 meters. I never say that. Because that is why for describing such quantities I need continuous random variables. Discrete random variable is not sufficient, and they are saying that the probability density function PDF is governed through fx is equals to 6x into 1 minus x from the interval 0 to 1. What they are expecting us to do, check that above is PDF. Yeah, we can check, always check. Determine a number b such that p of x less than b is equals to p of x greater than b. We have to find such b such that probability of random variable x less than b should be probability of random variable x greater than b should match. Okay, let us focus on first thing. Obviously, for 0 less than equal to x less than equal to 1, f of x is coming out to be 0. Is it so? Observe that function fx is equal to 6x into 1 minus x. In the interval 0 to 1, that function is always going to be positive. You can check by observation itself. At 0 it will be 0. At 1 it will be again 0. Anyway, any point between 0 to 1 when you put, you will find that whether either it will be 0 or it will be positive. No question of going that function to negative. So first property is okay. Now second property, what is second property? Integration minus infinity to infinity. That means integration endpoints, lower endpoint to upper endpoint, fx dx, it should come 1. Let us see that whether it is coming 1 or not. So integration 0 to 1 fx dx, it will be equals to 6 into integration x into 1 minus x dx. When you solve this integration, you will find that it is coming out to be 1. It is your responsibility now to check whether it is that integration is coming out to be 1 or not. Okay, so take pen and copy and solve it and tell me and verify with your friends whether you are getting the same result or not. Hence, f of x is a probability density function of a random variable x. Second thing, probability of x less than b is equals to probability of x greater than b. What does it mean by probability of some random variable is less than b? It means that integration 0 to b, here upper limit will be b. Integration 0 to b, because our whole interval is between 0 to 1. So I will play from 0 to b and b to 1 and nothing more than that. So integration 0 to b fx dx is equals to integration b to 1 fx dx. It is just the matter of putting the function and reaching to some point. When you solve the integration on both sides, you will find that you are getting 2b minus 1 is equals to 0 or 2b square minus 2b minus 1 is equals to 0. That means b is equals to 1 by 2 is one root, and when you solve this quadratic equation, you will find that the roots are not real, they are complex. Okay, hence b is equals to 1 by 2 is the only real value lying between 0 and 1, satisfying p of x less than b, probability of x less than b is equals to probability of x greater than b, because I don't want complex numbers here. Probability can never be complex, right? It is always real. So I am rejecting the values which will be obtained from this quadratic equation 2b square minus 2b minus 1. Okay, so b is equals to half is the value where the both the probabilities of x less than b and x greater than b are matching. So take this problem for homework. What is the problem? A CRV x, continuous random variable x, has the PDF, probability density function fx is equals to 3x square on 0 to 1. Find a and b such that probability of x less than equal to a is equals to probability of x greater than a, and probability of x greater than b is equals to 0.005. Exactly same problem. Okay, just do it. Answer is there. I am going to share the slides with you. Answer is there. You just verify your answer with that which is given, and let me know if you are facing any difficulty here. All right. Let us see one more example. Example number 3. Let x be a continuous random variable with probability density function fx is equals to ax for 0 to 1 is equals to a for 1 to 2 is equals to minus ax plus 3a for 2 to 3 and it is 0 elsewhere. So this is how the function is defined. Determine the constant a. Okay, we have to determine the constant a. What will be a we have to say. Compute probability of random variable x less than or equal to 1.5. Okay, let us see what we can do. First is, let us solve first one first. Constant a is determined from the consideration that total probability is unity. Because it is given that the given function is a probability density function, all the clauses of probability density function should hold true on that function. So we are saying that summation of all probabilities must be equals to 1. That means minus infinity to infinity fx dx is equals to 1. As I already told you, when I am saying minus infinity to infinity, I am talking about the endpoints where the function is defined, the probability density function is defined. So let us break that minus infinity to infinity now. It will be from minus infinity to 0 fx dx plus 0 to 1 fx dx plus 1 to 2 fx dx plus 2 to 3 fx dx plus 3 to infinity fx dx. Why I am breaking in this way only? Because the function is defined at those points only, in those sub intervals only. So what is fx now? Fx is different for different intervals. So for minus infinity to 0 we don't have any, it is 0 because they are saying now this you can read 0 elsewhere. What is meant by 0 elsewhere? It is 0 everywhere in just except from 0 to 3. Okay, so it is my first integration will be 0, second integration will be 0 to 1 ax dx, third will be 1 to 2 a dx, 2 to 3 minus ax plus 3a dx is equals to 1. When you solve all these three integrals and when right hand side is equals to 1, you will obtain that a is equals to 1 by 2. So the value of a is 1 by 2 half. Okay, second thing is probability of x less than or equal to 1 is similar thing, exactly similar thing, minus infinity to 1.5. That's it, minus infinity to 0, 0 to 1 and 1 to 1.5. Okay, so minus infinity to 0 will be 0 because it is elsewhere it is 0. Now 0 to 1 fx dx. How 0 to 1 it is defined? It is defined as ax. So I am taking a out of the interval and ax dx plus 1 to 1.5 a dx. It is as simple as that. You will get a is equals to 1 by 2 because we know a is equals to 1 by 2 from equation from solution 1. All right, let us see one more example here. Okay, the mileage, yeah, application oriented. I have in the first lecture itself I told you there are many applications of probability and statistics as far as engineering and sciences are concerned. This is one application oriented based question. The mileage C in thousands of miles which a car owner gets with a certain kind of tire is a random variable having probability density function fx is equals to 1 by 20 exponential minus x by 20 for x greater than 0 and it is 0 for x less than or equal to 0. Simply they have defined some function. For negative values and 0 it is 0 and for all positive values it is running by 1 by 20 into exponential minus x by 20. Find the probabilities that one of these tires will last at most 10,000 miles, anywhere from 16,000 to 24,000 miles, at least 30,000 miles. It is given that the function which is there is a probability density function and we are going to make use of this fact. Solution. Let random variable x denotes the mileage in 1000 miles. Okay, they have mentioned it clearly. They are not talking about in very big numbers because they are saying that x is a denote the mileage in 1000 miles. So whatever the number we are getting, it will be that much of 1000. As simple as that. With a certain kind of tire, then required probability is given by probability of what we have to do first, what we have to find for at most 10,000 mile. It is very important to understand the difference between the terms at most, at least, and the second one is anywhere. That means between, anywhere from this to this. So between. So what means by at most? At most means ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. Okay, maximum, and at least means कम से कम. So let us see. So we are getting ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. First one is, so probability of x less than or equal to 10 because we are saying that x will be in terms of 1000 miles. So we are not writing 10,000 here, we are simply writing 10. So probability of x less than or equal to 10. Why less than or equal to? Because at most, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. it will be 0 to 10 fx dx, and when you solve this 1 by 20, 0 to 10 fx is running by e to the power minus x by 20, you will get that value 0.3935. What about second? Probability of 16 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 24. Similar thing, nothing, simply solving integration, and you know exponential integration of exponential. Okay, so it is coming out to be 0.148. We have to verify this. Okay, don't simply believe my lecture notes. You take your pen and paper and solve this. Third is probability of x greater than or equal to 30. Why greater than or equal to here and not less than or equal to? Because it is at least, means 30 तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, 30 के ऊपर रहे तो बताइए क्या करना है. So it will be x greater than or equal to 30 means lower limit will be 30, and what will be upper limit? Upper limit will be obviously infinity. Okay, so 30 to infinity fx dx will be, it is coming out to be 0.2231. What was here lower limit in the first one? It was 0, because 0 के नीचे function ही नहीं है, 0 to infinity की बात हो रही है, and obviously 0 to infinity की भी बात होनी चाहिए, because what they are saying, it will last for this much miles. Okay, so obviously that will be from 0 to infinity. For less than or equal to 0, it is 0, and for positive values, whenever you are writing x greater than 0, that means interval of integration will be 0 to infinity. So first one we have because less than or equal to sign is there, we have 0 to 10, and the last one we have 30 to infinity, because x is greater than 0, that means there is no bound on that. Upper limit is infinity. And second one is, I think it is very clear, because it is a bounded interval 16 to 24. Okay, so this is how we solve the examples of continuous random variables. In the next lecture, in the next part of this lecture, we are going to study continuous distribution function. Okay, so before that, you just study the lecture which is just now been taken, and all the best for that. Okay, we'll meet in the next part.